Layne Rutherford Staley was born on August 22, 1967 in Bellevue, Washington, to his parents, Philip and Nancy Staley. Even from a young age, music played a big part in Layne Staley's life. When Layne was just 3 years old, he joined a rhythm band and was the youngest in the group. And when Layne Staley was 7 years old, his parents would divorce, and he would be raised by his mother and stepdad, Jim Elmer. Layne would take his stepdad's last name for some time and was known as Layne Elmer. He would also change his middle name from Rutherford to Thomas, named after Tommy Lee, who was the drummer of Motley Crue. Layne started playing the drums when he was just 12, and he joined some glam bands for his early teenage years. And in 1984, Layne Staley joined a band called Sleaze, in which Layne would later rename Alice in Chains. Layne Staley, at this time, during 1987, met Jerry Cantrell, and Layne would allow Jerry to stay with him in a rehearsal space since Jerry Cantrell was kicked out by his parents and was homeless. Layne wanted Jerry Cantrell to join his band, and Cantrell agreed. He agreed, but among one condition, that Staley also join his band. Even though Layne was hesitant and combative at first, what they basically did is they had a bunch of terrible singers audition for their band, until Layne got fed up with it. So Layne joined Jerry's band, and with his old bandmates' permission, Layne decided to use his old band name, Alice in Chains. Layne Staley's first album with Alice in Chains was called Facelift. The album contained Alice in Chains' main hit, Man in the Box, released in 1990. Alice in Chains' second massive hit album would be released in 1992, with the album called Dirt, and featured songs like Wood and Rooster. Alice in Chains would release 2 more albums, called Jar of Flies and self-titled Alice in Chains. After this, Alice in Chains went on hiatus in the mid to late 90s because of Layne Staley's worsening drug issues. When Layne Staley tried to go back into singing, his ability to sing had been greatly affected because of his deteriorating teeth, which gave him a lisp. Sadly, Layne Staley's condition would only worsen, and no one even saw him during this time period because he isolated himself completely. He wouldn't answer the phone, he wouldn't answer the door, and whenever he did leave, he would leave late at night. This continued for years until April 5th, 2002, when Layne Staley would sadly pass away of an accidental overdose. Layne's body wouldn't be found for 2 weeks after his death, on April 19th, 2002.